clamo al Dios de Jacob, que ha dado su eterno amor. Sé que tú cumplirás tu pacto. Hoy clamo al Dios.
It is time for Yes with Yesse. Please welcome your host, Yesenia Leva.
Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Yes with Yesse. Sí con Jesse. Sí con Jesse. Don't you guys love my little intro? I missed it. Welcome to Yes with Yesse. Thank you so much for joining me on another week, another day, another episode of Yes with Yesse. All things inclusion of persons with disabilities in our community, information, resources, just life. Right? Just this whole thing called life that we live every single day. And sometimes we're like, oh my goodness, what's happening? But it's all worth it. In the end, it is all worth it. And I enjoy being here with you guys. So thank you so much for being on the other side and supporting me here on Yes with Yesse and New Season Gospel FM. No place I'd rather be than here with you guys. So good evening, good morning, good afternoon, buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches, no matter where you are listening from. Brother Randu, I feel like I haven't seen you in so long. Thank you so much for joining. Y Yaima, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenida, creo que primera vez aquí conmigo. Gracias por sintonizarte aquí conmigo, con Jesse. Y esta es una plataforma donde hablamos de la vida, ¿no? De la inclusión, diversidad de personas con necesidades especiales, actividades, eventos, recursos, todo lo que tiene que ver con la inclusión, ya que todos somos parte de esta comunidad, right? We're all a part of this thing called life and community, and that's what we are all about. That's what I'm all about. And so I'm excited to always share with you guys a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And hopefully someday soon, you guys will just learn from other guests and what we have out there to offer and all these people maybe that I mentioned, you're like, oh my God, who are these people? Like, what do you do? And really get a feel for it and understand it. So it's in the works, it's coming, it's in the works. And I look forward to that very, very soon as well. Because, sometimes we can talk and we can say, but it's not until we see it and we live it and we experience it that we're like, oh, okay, that's what that is. I know that's how I am. Like, you have to show me. You have to show me in real life, when you're trying to teach me something, and then that way I can really grasp it. So looking forward to that. Please take a moment to share the broadcast. Oh my goodness, Randu. Share the broadcast porque Facebook has blocked me. Facebook has blocked me from my Yesse Leva page. Therefore, I am not able to post anywhere. I can't post on my Yes with Yesse group. I can't post anywhere. So if you guys please do me that favor and share the broadcast, try to share it on my page if you can. If you're a part of my group, please try to share it and share it with others that and that I know, so that they know that Yes with Yesse is on. And so Brother Randu is asking, the book is also coming out soon. I don't know how soon, Brother Randu, but I can tell you I'm proud. I've been writing and just getting information and gathering different things, and you don't know how much goes into it until you start doing something, that project, that thing that you want to do, right? So there's a lot that goes into it. I have been getting questions answered and seeing different examples and just kind of brainstorming on what I would like to see and what I want others to see because once it gets out to the world, it's out. But I'm excited. I really, really, really want to do it, and I'm super excited, and I'm happy for the support. As a matter of fact, just a couple days ago, a friend of mine posted something, and she mentioned something related to, asking me, how is the writing coming along, or how is this coming along? And so I'm a little, so I didn't really get it. But she was asking me in regards to the book, like, where are you in, what page are you on? I think she said, what page are you on? I'm like, what? It took me 2 Cuban seconds to figure out what she was talking about. And then I ended up texting her like, oh, that's what you were talking about. So I have to kind of get in the mind frame of it. and get used to it and just make it an everyday thing, right? I think that's the hardest part, making it an everyday thing, staying consistent and giving yourself a timeline. That was like one of the first things she said to me is like, okay, when do you want to get this done by? And okay, do it, schedule yourself, keep writing every day and doing all these things. And so I'm excited. One of the things that I started doing is recording conversations, right, with family members, of course, to begin. And so just learning so much more of my upbringing. And I think what we don't realize is, when I started thinking about writing my book many moons ago, I'm thinking about me. I'm thinking about writing, okay, I'm Yesse. My name is Yesse, and, start my story from there. But our story doesn't start from there. Our story doesn't start from our birth. Our story really doesn't start from the day that you were born, right? I think our story starts from beyond that. Like, where do you come from? Who are your parents? Who are your parents? Where did they come from? What were their struggles and their successes? What did all of that look like to then bring you into this world? And then, all of that is then kind of a part of you, along with whatever is, what came after your birth, right? So it's a very unique perspective that I was able to get with all of this. And so as I'm learning and as I'm doing these interviews with family members, and oh my gosh, there's so many things to consider and to think about. And I think that one of the things for sure, now I can't even say I know that one of the things for sure that has stopped me from starting that process even of writing the book is you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to hurt people. You don't want people to take things, the wrong way. Should I name them by their real name? Should I give them a character name? Like all of these different questions that I'm like, OMG. But at the end of the day, what I've learned is so far, it is my story. It is my story, whatever it is, whatever those situations are, whatever those experiences have been, all of that has been a part of my story. And so if I don't include that genuinely and truly include that into my book, then what am I doing, right? Is that a yes, change their names, or no, don't change their names, Brother Randu? Because you can, help me out. So yes, I think for me, it's important to include all of my experiences that have led me to who I am today. And I think that's very important. If I don't do that, I'm doing everybody a disservice, including myself first and foremost. So, see, yes, change their names. Yes, change their names. I guess we'll see. Probably it makes sense. It makes sense for sure. Everybody knows my story. I mean, a lot of people knows my story and knows names to those, participants in that part of the story. And so, but I can definitely understand why yes to change their names, depending on what it is that we're talking about, the situation or the experience and all of that. So see, I have been marinating on it, talking about it, having those conversations. I have started writing, not as much as I need to, but I have started writing. And I've told several people, I'm like, look, I need you to ask me. I need you to ask me every week, where are you? What have you written? What have you done? Where are, keep me accountable. Because this thing with life can get so busy and so, you can get so buried into your day-to-day things that it's like, oh, writing? When? Where? And the cool thing was the other day I went to where did I go the other day? I spoke at a conference in Miami, and I was able to actually put on a diversity and inclusion training, a part of this conference. And it was really cool. It was a women's conference. And okay, Brother Randu. It was a women's conference. And as a matter of fact, back in 2016. So get this, 2016, I was awarded an award for one of the 100 Successful Women's Award. So I was awarded this award. Okay, it passed. That was 2016. 2024, I'm invited back to speak, which was awesome. And I gave a diversity and inclusion training specifically on disability. And it was awesome because I was like, are people going to come? Is the room going to fill up? Are they going to ask me questions? Are they going to relate? Like all these different things come to my mind and give me like just before I get started. And yes, the room was, can't say the room was full, but there was people in the room. There was people in the room, and they started getting comfortable and sharing their stories and sharing their story about their son, their daughter, etc., asking questions. And so all of these experiences just give me more meat and more detail to add into my future book, because it's coming. It's in the world. It's out there. God said it's going to happen. So it's going to happen. But that was a really cool experience. And so I'm looking forward to that, to having more experiences like that, because I think it helps me to grow. Of course, that helps me to better my speaking publicly, and then gives me that opportunity to go back and listen to the speaking, which I do not like to do. I do not like to do that. I love to speak. I love to do this. I love all of that. I just don't like to go back for some reason and hear myself. But have to get used to it. Have to get used to it, because that's the only way that we're going to improve and kind of hear yourself. Okay, this is what I did not so good. This is what I can do better. This was awesome. And get the feedback. I love getting the feedback from the people post conference, right? And then they come up to you and ask you questions more personal, related to their personal situation, or they want to take a picture, or more opportunities come out of that. I mean, so many more opportunities came out of that one speaking engagement with the women's conference, on not just from the speaking perspective, but as a service provider perspective also, because you'd be surprised how many, nonprofits and companies exist where they're at a loss of resources, of like, okay, where do I send this person? Or, how do we educate this group of people that we serve on a topic such as disability, or where they can go for benefits, or how to apply for, government benefits, or whatever it is. So it was a really cool moment to obtain contacts, obtain future contracts, God willing, and of course, more speaking engagements in the near future. So, all of that to some way, somehow be able to add into the book. And the reason I talked about that, going back a little bit, is because I met someone who gave a really, really cool talk about her book. She's a published author. She gave a really cool talk about her book and all that stuff. And her book was really cool because her book was a nice size, like it was a nice length, that wasn't too much and it wasn't too little. And in the book, she added exercises. She added like, I don't know, goal settings and like keeping yourself accountable and scheduling and all these different things. I was like, cool, okay. And so that just gives me ideas of what to do, because I feel like all these topics that we talk about when it comes to the disability world, like goal setting, exactly, right? Maybe my perspective of goal setting as a person with a disability is not the same as yours, that you don't have a noticeable disability, because we're in a different place. We've been, taught differently. We've kind of been in survival mode for so long, and we're like, oh my God, right? So goal setting or self-discovery. Self-discovery is huge, right? Self-discovery is, who are you? What do you have to offer? Why should people care? And so when I saw her book, it just fired me up some more. I'd be like, all right, I can do that, right? And she was really encouraging. So it's possible, guys. It's possible. Whatever it is that you have in you, that you desire to do, that it's been sleeping for a while, wake it up, buttercup, and make it happen. Brother Randu says, you should have a photographer follow you around and take candid black and white photos. Yes, absolutely, I should. As a matter of fact, it's funny you say that, because I have a good friend who he covered one of my events last year, and then moving forward, he's been amazing at sending me to red carpet events, or just to cover different events related to disability. Or just a couple of weeks ago, we interviewed a gentleman running for sheriff. I think I shared with you guys. He's running for the sheriff in a local town here. And he asked me, hey, do you want to come host this interview? And I'm like, sure, sure. So I know him, and I actually was able to contact him, but he wasn't able to make it. So, it's really, really, really important. You're absolutely right to have footage and to have pictures taken and all that. I don't know about the black and white. to be honest. I'm not a fan of black and white. I like colored, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, but I'm not a fan of black and white. But I don't mind like incorporating it, in the book somewhere somehow. But I don't know that I would do it as the front cover. I believe I'm all about inclusion, right, and diversity of all people of different cultural backgrounds. I don't care where you're from. I always say disability doesn't discriminate, so why should I? And so I feel like for me, with my mission and what I do every day, when I do something in black and white, it kind of takes away from my purpose of that inspiring inclusion and diversity in everything that I do. So that's the reason for that. Again, I always say disability doesn't discriminate, so why should we? And so when I do something in black and white, or I see pictures in black and white, they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, and they're so empowering. But I always think about, does it connect, and does it relate to the message that I work to portray in all the things that I do? So hope that makes sense. But we'll see, because after that first book is published, there'll be more, because there's so many things being talked about and marinating that I've had withholding inside of me for so long that has to come out. So let's start with my book first, and then we'll go from there, right? We'll go from there. So the month of March is very meaningful. There's so much going on for this month of March, especially when we talk about the disability world and my kiddos, who drove me absolutely bonkers today. A little bit, not so much. It was movie day, so they were good. But overall, they usually drive me crazy, but I love them. We are in March, and 321 is today. To be honest, I forgot. And so when I got to work, like, nobody mentioned it or anything. And then when I finally realized, I'm like, oh, come on, Jesse, like, really? Because it's 321, and 321 is World Down Syndrome Day. So I didn't realize until I started getting messages. I started getting messages with pictures of some of my girls that I've worked with and continue to work with. And I'm like, oh, my babies. And so it is World Down Syndrome Day. And days like these are used to, educate and to empower and to raise that awareness of like, hey, we have that diagnosis, but we're here. We're human. We're people. We bleed red. We need services. We need all kinds of services, whether it's living supports, whether it's benefits counseling, whether it's government benefits, educational advocacy. We need services. I'm not a fan of, I don't think we should be in a place in the world where we should have these like days signifying specific things. I don't think we should be there anymore, but we are, and that's okay. We are, because we're still learning, right? There's still people out there that have no idea about disability, inclusion. Law enforcement still needs training. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Schools or teachers rather in the education system are still being educated on inclusion, or including those students with disabilities with appropriate services. What does that look like, right? Is it appropriate for a student to be full inclusion in a classroom? That's a tricky question. I struggle with that. I struggle with that because my quick answer would be no. But, common sense would tell you no, because they need supports. But for me, it's like, okay, what can we do to educate all of our teachers and make sure that they are equipped and empowered with the support that they need or should be able to provide for their students? I was there. I was in special education classes until middle school. And here is about 6th grade. Right. And so then I got into regular classes, and, that was a whole thing. So fortunately for me, I come from a place of experience, right? Everything that I talk about, everything that I advocate, a lot of things that I advocate for are because I lived it. And so what better way to advocate or what better tool to have to advocate than to have your own experiences that you have lived. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And that's definitely things that'll be included in the book, so you don't want to miss it when it comes out. I'm talking about it like it's coming out. It's coming out. It's coming out. For now, let's go ahead and play this little song for you, and I will be right back. I will be back.
Jacob, que ha dado su eterno amor. Sé que tú cumplirás tu pacto. Hoy clamo al Dios de Moisés, el mismo que abrió los mares. Hoy necesito que lo hagas por mí. Oh Dios, te necesito. Oh Dios, te necesito. Te necesito. Oh Dios, mi roca eterna, confío en tu fidelidad, tu fidelidad, Señor. Hoy clamo al Dios de María, que da favor a los humildes. Contigo todo es posible. Hoy clamo al Dios de David, que hizo de un niño valiente. Y aunque a Goliat no enfrente, yo tengo mis gigantes. Oh Dios, te necesito. Oh Dios, te necesito. Te necesito. Oh Dios, mi roca eterna, confío en tu fidelidad, tu fidelidad. Oh Dios, te necesito. Oh Dios, te necesito. Te necesito. Oh Dios, mi roca eterna, confío en tu fidelidad, tu fidelidad. Señor, tu fidelidad es grande. Sí, Señor. Nos escuchaste ayer y nos escuchas hoy. Eres el mismo, eres el mismo. Nos respondiste ayer y aún respondes hoy. Eres el mismo, eres el mismo. Nos proveíste ayer y nos provees hoy. Eres el mismo,
Eres el mismo Dios. You are the same God. Yes. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, forever. Same God. And that's why he's so amazing. His love never fails and never runs out. It never falls out on me. Love that song too. And so, guys, I'm excited. Thank you so much for joining Yes with Yesse. Unfortunately, on the screen, I can't see everyone, but I see you, Sister Helena. Thank you so much for joining. And Sister Mina, I saw you there somewhere. Who else is on here with me? On Facebook, on Got a Book, Facebook. Facebook has me blocked, but it's okay. Facebook has me blocked, but we are still here. I saw Sister Mina, and I see John, I see you as well. Sister Christina, I see you. Thank you so much for joining. So as you come on, do me a favor, share the broadcast. Let others know that we are here, because I am not able to share, unfortunately, on my page as I normally do. So if you can share, I'd greatly appreciate it. And I'll tell you why else I'm excited. Okay. So it is 3, 2, 1. Yes, we talked about it. It is Down Syndrome, World Down Syndrome Day. And so with all my babies with Down, big babies too, because they're all different ages with Down syndrome, all kind of different disabilities. And of course, those without disabilities, which is the beauty of everything that I do, that everybody without disabilities, I don't care where you're from, is included in all of services and activities and all that good stuff. And so we are getting yes, Facebook always blocking me because I share too much because of you guys. But it's okay, I'll be back. And so with everything that I do, this is one of my favorite things in the entire world, other than being on radio, that is. It is our upcoming event coming up on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. And May 4th, it is our 3rd annual Future Floristic for Inclusion event at the Broward Center for the Performing Arts. And if you guys were there last year, you guys don't miss it. It's going to be awesome again. I know you guys loved it last year as well. And so I'm excited. That's coming up. And as a matter of fact, it's right around the corner, and tickets come out tomorrow. We're going to have a very brief sale tomorrow as of 10 a.m. on Ticketmaster and the BrowardCenter.org website as well. And so that is going to be discounted pricing. So if you are listening, watching, and you're interested in going and telling family and friends, church family, you're interested, tomorrow as of 10 a.m. tickets will be live on the Broward Center for the Performing Arts through Ticketmaster and the Broward Center website. And there's so many different ones. And so I'm excited, and I'll tell you why I am even more excited, because I didn't feel like it was going to happen this year. It was too much. It was so many things going on at the same time, not only, for me, but for so many people. It's been a trying time, right? A trying year. With the passing of my grandma, with what we were going through before that, the whole process, I was exhausted. I was like, are we doing this? Like, I literally was like, are we doing this? And, I was told, you know what? We've come this far, and we haven't come this far to only come this far, and we're going to pull through, and we're going to do it in spite of our hardships, in spite of the no's, in spite of, through it all, we're going to do it. And I'm like, all right, that's all you got to tell me. That's all I need to know to make it happen. So it's going to happen. It is going to happen May 4th, 3:30 p.m. May 4th, Broward Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets pre-sale tomorrow. And so that's only for 48 hours tomorrow, right? So it starts at 10 a.m. and for 48 hours, you'll be able to get your ticket at a discounted price of $25 after the 48 hours. Regular price, and then we go from there. So it's happening whether I like it or not. No, I love it. It's happening. And so we're going to be starting rehearsals with our kiddos this weekend as well for the fashion show. So John, I see you, and give me a call or message me after the show, and we'll figure out what we need to do to make sure that we are all set in stone. Mr. John, God willing, will be performing a spoken word poetry the day of the show. So I'm excited. That's like one of my favorite parts, guys. It's awesome. When you can speak, you can literally speak and tell stories and all these awesome stuff through spoken word, and song and all that stuff, and do it together in unity as one, because we are one human race. My favorite part ever. And so I'm excited, guys. I'll definitely, as a matter of fact, if you just go on all of my social media platforms, you'll see it. You'll see the announcement. You'll definitely see the announcement. You'll see the date. You'll see the time. And tomorrow, first thing in the morning, as soon as I get it, you'll see the link so that you guys can start reserving your tickets for yourself, family, friends, babies, all ages, all that stuff. And you don't want to miss out. So it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. So today I was reading, and actually that wasn't today. Time flies so fast. I heard it on social media. El chismoso de social media tells you everything. I heard it on social media, and then I found the article later on somewhere on the internet. So a couple of days ago, not too long ago, in LA, in Los Angeles, a teenager with autism. Okay, a teenager with autism. Regular teen. Yes, he had autism, but he was high functioning. He went to school. He loved to run. That's kind of what he did to just release, his emotions and all that stuff. His dream was to become an engineer. And if you know about autism, our young men and women with autism are super bright. They have great potential. And of course, there's different levels and aspects and all these different things. But overall, like, some are like genius style, right? So he wanted to become an engineer. So one day he just becomes frustrated, and he went out and he, ran 6 miles, and he was frustrated because his parents asked him to clean his room. Listen, you got to clean your room, like teenager stuff, right? And so he got upset and he left the house. He went somewhere, and a family member of his did what anyone who believes their family member, their loved one, is in danger or a runaway or whatever. She called the police. And let them know that we need help. We need help. We need the dispatch to just take him in because he's breaking glass. He's whatever. He was aggressive at this point because he was so upset, and that's normal, right? To be aggressive with this diagnosis is normal, and then added with being upset for whatever reason, the aggression escalates a little bit, and sometimes a lot. And so unless you know the tricks, if you will, the do's and don'ts, the process, procedures of de-escalating someone who has gotten to a point of escalation and harm to others and self-harm, etc., it can get very, very tricky. That is when you pray that when you call 911 and you call 911 for help, for your family member, you would hope that they do the right thing, right? That they do the right thing, that they know how to handle the situation, and that at the end of the day, your loved one would live to see another day, right? And so, unfortunately, that is the reality of many people who have a young adult or whatever age with this diagnosis that don't know how to process their emotion, that are so often misunderstood because of the diagnosis, and yet we have the law enforcement who are not properly trained in these specific situations. And so, what happened, to this young man is tragic. So, when they call 911 for help, they take him in. He was, of course, like I said, aggressive, breaking glass and all these different things. He was shot. So the deputy shot him, saying that he had threatened him with a garden hose. Okay, so a police officer feels threatened by this young man with a garden hose. Okay, I would assume if this person, this police officer was, a big guy, etc., he would be able to remove that thing from this young man, hold him down, and go from there. I would assume. I don't know, wasn't there, didn't see it, and so this young man was shot by the police officer, and he later died. So you go from a young man who has autism, got upset because his parents, told him to do something, and he said no, and he went outside. He did what he does when he gets upset. He was running. Police catch up to him because parents, called and family member asked for help. Great, awesome. And then the deputy fatally shot him, saying that he had threatened him with a thing. So so many things run through my mind. One, why are police officers trained to kill versus like in this situation? It would have been much better to de-escalate, to be aware, to know the signs for the family member. Maybe, I don't know if they did or not, communicate the fact that he has autism, so that they know how to approach the situation. And so what do you do in situations like these, right? And so as an advocate on the other side, when I'm reading this and I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, okay, where's the training happening? Where's the training? Where's the training? Why is nobody talking about this? Why wasn't this story on national television? On the national news? I found it online. Why? That is the question, right? And so what we're doing is, and what media unfortunately tends to do sometimes is, to hide these things from the general public so that we don't hear about it. And John says you said police taught to de-escalate. Well, in my mind, it's like, yes, they should be taught to. Well, it's a case by case scenario, right? So some people are like listening and like, are you crazy, right? But I don't know. In the perfect world for me, there would be another department when there's a runaway or someone with that's autism or some kind of disability, where we can call and be like, look, this is what's happening, and train these people. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've called police departments and said, hey, this is what I do. I want to train on disability etiquette training, so that you at least know what you're looking for. And if you know what you're looking for and you know why they're acting a certain way or whatever the case, then you know what to do to de-escalate that situation, or not to let it get to where it can potentially get to the point where somebody is losing their life because you felt some kind of threat, right? And some will say, well, we got to treat everybody the same, and that's what the police officers are trained to do, and et cetera, et cetera. I understand, but no. No, because we're not the same. We don't all act the same. Even in my opinion, even when we're talking about criminals, and they're not all the same. They don't all commit the same crime. They don't do the same thing. They're not all. It just gets really really tricky. And so I know for sure, when it comes to people with disabilities, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, I know when I work with my students, I learn from them every day. And when I start to work with them, my first thought is never, what is your diagnosis? Or let me see the report and let me see what it says about you. Never. Like, that's just not my thing. I don't believe in judging them by their diagnosis, right? Like, let me hear you out. Let me observe you. Let me see your behavior. Let me, all these things. And then once I get to know you for some time, then I will take a look at your report and see what your diagnosis is. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, well, that's why she did this or that, or that's why, he acted a certain way. I've always been like that. And some other professionals ask me that, what do you mean you don't read the report? I do at some point, but I do not believe in reading the report first thing to make a judgment, a preconceived judgment of somebody with whatever disability. I don't believe in doing that. I never have. Even when I do my employment coaching, I don't. I like to judge. I guess for me, it's a prejudgment of, a diagnosis. Oh, don't put them in. Don't put them in. I don't know, Home Depot because of their diagnosis. Like, I just can't grasp that. I can't grasp that. More invested in their talents, their skills, their abilities, who they are on a day to day, why they act a certain way. When I see the signs, I'm like, oh, okay, this is why, right? So like, specifically, or, more so with mental health, that's a big one, right? Everything can be fine and dandy, but the moment they don't have their medication, there's escalation, there's aggression, there's all these different things. So I get to see both sides of that person on their good days and their not so good days. And what do we do to balance that, when it comes to living in community, or in the employment world, or social activities, or church even, whatever the case. Good evening, Brother Dwayne. Thank you so much for joining. Blessings to you and family as well. And John says, well, we need to these VR people because okay, so VR means vocational rehabilitation. Vocational rehabilitation is an agency that provides services to people with disabilities, or is supposed to provide services to people with disabilities, of employment, job placement, and funding. They're supposed to pay for whatever it is that you need to help you be gainfully employed. So if you have a son, a daughter in their preteen, teenage, young adult years, vocational rehabilitation is something that you definitely need in your life for your son or daughter or yourself. I can tell you, I've been a client of theirs since, I don't know, 2004. I'm not that old. 2004, maybe even 2003. I've learned to advocate as for myself and then advocate for other people, on the other side of the coin. John says 12 years old. That's awesome. I think the earlier the better. The younger the better, because there's more services. I mean, from pre-employment training to advocacy training to interviewing skills and communication skills, all that stuff. And they pay for anything that will help you keep and maintain a job, as well as help you pay for schooling, driving lessons like they paid for me, the hand controls that I use as well. So they do a lot of stuff, but you definitely need someone like me or somebody like John listening live to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do in your specific situation according to your needs. So there is help and resources rather out there. And we definitely need training. Sister Juliet, thank you so much for joining. We do need training. We do need to, let everyone know what is out there, what is available. And these officers, yes, they need training. Anyone that's going to have any kind of experience with someone with a disability, with mental health, physical, whatever, everybody needs training. And so now with this situation that happened with this young man who was killed in the hands of the police, who had autism, activists that is, are raising that concern about law enforcement and how law enforcement use that force of law, is that how you say it, against people, quote unquote, and this is exactly how it was written, quote unquote, suffering from mental illness or the lack of supportive services available for families when they call the police. I wanted to highlight when they say law enforcement use force against people suffering from mental illness. To me, and John, if you're listening, I love your input in this. So this person was diagnosed with autism, which is, yes, a neurological disorder, all that stuff. But right away, they labeled them with a mental health disorder. To me, mental health disorder and autism have their differences. Are they, does one affect the other and all that? Yes, but I think they're very, very different. And I think one of the first things that we have to do is to, I don't want to say label, because I don't believe in labeling, but I believe that we have to educate ourselves on the diagnosis put upon our individuals with these disabilities and label correctly. I don't believe in labeling. I label jars, not people. But I think if we don't have the correct title, name of that disability, description, diagnosis, all of that, if we don't have the correct thing, then we're never going to provide an accurate service. So John said mental illness justifies the shooting. Mental illness justifies the shooting. According to who, though? He's right. There has to be a justification, right? So the kid had mental health. He could have harmed me with a garden hose. It's literally what the article says, guys. So let's shoot him, right? Let's kind of shoot to kill. I don't agree with any of that. I don't agree in the labeling. Yes, paperwork, right? It's all about what the paper says. I don't believe in just throwing out mental illness right away in these particular situations, because unless we learn to dissect these diagnoses and and really understand each and every one on an individual base, and not group it into one soup of diagnosis, only then will we really know how to go about it. Go about providing that service or that etiquette, as the police should, the disability etiquette and all that stuff, the right way. But unfortunately, yeah, it's about the paperwork. It's about the labeling. It's about, automatically, because you have a neurological disorder or you have something going on that can affect the mind, we're right away in mental health. We already know the stigma mental health has in our community, and the lack of services that exist. And it's bonkers. It's bonkers. To me, what they should have done, de-escalating the situation, talk to the kid. It's a blessing, to be honest, what I'm going to say. And I've talked about it before. Maybe I think this way because of what I get to do for a living and how I connect with these kids and young adults and all ages, where I know it's possible to talk to them a certain way, where they de-escalate, where they listen to you, where they definitely understand. It's just crazy, and I can't explain it. I can't explain it because I don't know. It's living it is one thing and explaining it is something else. I just know that it's possible. And if these police officers, if you are one, police officers, law enforcement, everybody in that line of work, in that line of duty, if you just allow for training, and allow to be educated on the disability etiquette, on the signs of what to see, what this means, what this doesn't mean. Even nonverbal communication. If you understood nonverbal communication and acted accordingly to those behaviors or those gestures and those things, a lot of these killings of innocent people, because he's not the first one. This young man is not the first one. He's not going to be the last one, for sure. Before him, it was several other ones around the country. If we really took time to understand all of that and how the psychology behind it works, this world would be so much better. John says the police officer. Police officers sometimes say, that I feared for my life. That was the only choice I had. All these different things. But I think all of that comes from ignorance. All of that comes from ignorance. Do you have to protect yourself if you're in danger? Yeah. But you have to be able to dissect what that is. Is this really danger, or is this acting out? Is this, what is this? Is it, I don't know. Maybe I make it sound too easy, right? And at the end of the day, we're going to say, well, the police officers, they got to do what they got to do, and they got to do their job. Yeah, but if you're going to do your job, do it the right way. Do it the right way. And then if you don't know, at least take the time to allow people like myself, like John, like so many others, to train you on what you should know or should see, etc., to be able to do what you are supposed to do, which is help people and help your community. Right? So don't get mad at me if I'm trying to educate you and you deny the help, and then you go and you harm someone or even kill someone from the lack of ignorance when I'm trying to help you. And then it's kind of like we continue to work against each other instead of working together. And we got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing that. That's all I can say. We have to stop. We have to stop doing that. We all do something different, and we need to start working together to help each other for the well-being of the people that we serve, for our community. If you're in the world of service, education, nonprofit, disability services, church, all of that, you are in the world of service, take the time to get training. Take the time to get the training so that when, God forbid, something happens, you don't hear, I told you so. I told you so. No, if you have like me, I have my beginner's mental health certification. We need to use that more, including myself. I haven't used it in a while, including, we have to use it more to train whatever environment we are in, whatever building I put my 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 feet in to train them on beginner's mental health. And people will be like, oh, well, how's that going to benefit me? It is, because it'll help you see the signs of harm, and not just one person, but your team, your people, whoever you have supporting you. You know, everybody needs to get trained, because it's not a one-man deal. It's not a one-man show. It's not a one shoe fits all. Everybody in your business should get a first aid training for mental health, and for law enforcement as well, for all those different things. That makes sense. Definitely. John says, teach me sensei. Yeah, so we definitely do. And you know what? When you say that, John, we as advocates, we as service providers, I think we need to do, I want to say we need to do a better job at bringing together fellow service providers and advocates in doing these kind of trainings. But I also understand how hard it is. Because the first thing people tend to tell you is like, oh, well, I don't have time. I have a busy schedule, or I have to pay for it. You know, there's so many excuses. Like, so we have to stop putting the excuses. Or, oh, no, I'll teach it myself. I'll do it. No, you won't do it yourself, because if you did it yourself, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in. But we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. So we definitely have to come together and put these professionals and teachers, law enforcement, and churches, and everybody into these trainings and make it a community thing. So I think that that's a homework that we, or a responsibility that we should have to make this world a better place for the people that we serve, right? And I include myself. I include myself in making that my homework, to do. So thank you guys so much for joining Yes with Yesse. Hopefully in the near future, I'll have like all of the comments where I can see them together to be able to respond to you guys. Yes, we should have police come to our building monthly to expose them to behaviors. Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. That would be amazing to expose not only police officers, but just people. Like all people, I'm an all people person. All people should experience these behaviors, because right away they're like, oh no, no, not here, or don't bring them here, or I don't want to see that. Well, yeah, you should. Because when you quote unquote see it, deal with it, whatever, you understand more, and you understand the madness of all the things that we talk about that we see every single day. And it's interesting because it's exhausting, but it's the best thing in the world. I wouldn't do anything different, and I just would love for everybody to have an experience to see what we see on the other side every single day. And you'll understand. In uniform and out of the in uniform and out of uniform. Oh yes, absolutely. In uniform and out of uniform. Yeah, in uniform and out of uniform. Absolutely. Once you're in uniform, always in uniform when you're like service providers and all that stuff. That's for me, it's a 24/7 type of deal. So thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for a conversation. Thank you for joining me and participating and just having that conversation. Yes, Brother Randu, you're absolutely right. And so it was fun. It was awesome. Thank you so much again. I look forward to seeing you again next Thursday for another episode of Yes with Yesse, right here on New Season Gospel FM, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, across social media and YouTube as well. So make sure you subscribe to New Season Gospel FM to follow other things, disability information, resources. Definitely subscribe to Yes with Yesse, all across social media platforms as well. And tomorrow's Friday. On Friday, we'll start the morning in His Presence prayer time, 6:30 a.m. with Pastor Henry, followed by the Pastor Steve show for a fun Friday. It's always fun. And then prayer time in noontime. I almost forgot. Noontime prayer with Minister Yesse, 12 noon tomorrow as well. And then I look forward to seeing you guys here for service on Sunday at 11 a.m. You don't want to miss it. Guys. So, thank you again. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week on another episode of Yes with Yesse. For all inquiries, if you want to share your story, be on the show, and you have anything at all, any questions, Yes with Yesse, yeswithyesse@gmail.com, yeswithyesse@gmail.com, and I will definitely get back to you guys. So until then, thank you again for joining, and I will see you, God's willing, next Thursday at 6 p.m.
pray for Latin English.